Chat with them dudes.
Chat with Sebastian, Brew, and the crew.
What
I
are
hate that
you
I'm
up to?
behind.
What
I hate that
minute?
I'm behind you. I'm at 100 to 100, 249 left.
Oh, you're ahead of me now.
Oh. I just finished the Foul Merchant. I finished watching the Foul Merchant, DeRozan, who right
Seen him
around
hit his
now.
free throws.
Yeah, right around now he's gonna go to the line about 6 or 7 times.
You somehow got ahead of me. You were behind me before, and now you're ahead of me. Let me hit.
What's the time you got?
Let me refresh and see if I can catch up with you here.
I'm watching the Chicago sports feed, so I was listening to Stacey King, who has a lot of praise for Okoro and Mobley. He really likes Mobley.
Stacey King, former Bulls, kind of mediocre role player.
Yeah, that brother blew up like the Nutty Professor.
Did he?
Yeah,
is he getting thick?
That's a nice way of putting it. Oh, Donovan.
Oh, where are you right now? Did you just see
103, 100.
Did you just see Donovan whack that?
Finally, welcome to the basketball game.
He loves the big moment, man. Because he split up Strus's big night with a big oh Jesus.
Oh man. Oh, you got us on the
Drummond. Speaking of thick.
Drummond, he filled out, didn't he? He's getting chunkier, right?
He filled out, dude.
It's like a cream donut.
What happened there with Donovan? What are you doing?
Oh, Jig, you about to ruin this for me.
Are you behind?
How much time is left for you?
124 now.
Oh shit! Yeah, how did I fall behind? What the hell is going on over here?
I don't know. It's weird how our computers aren't.
We're like seesawing. It's like
I guess it's an internet thing.
Donovan. Go back and watch that clip of Max Strus when he hit that shot.
Yeah,
they show the sideline and either DeJuan Jones, one of the Browns is back there in the Joe Thomas.
Oh,
jersey.
really?
I thought it was DeJuan Jones. He goes sprinting behind the bench, and I'm like, what is that big dude doing? Like he's like,
and it was DeJuan.
I think so because he's wearing a 73 Joe Thomas jersey. I'm like, what is he doing? I was like, it's either DeJuan or it's Phil Taylor. Remember Phil Taylor?
I do remember Phil Taylor. He hangs around the Browns still.
He lives in Cleveland.
Does he live in Cleveland? Okay, I dig that. He was a good player. Not great. Good. Ah, shit.
Oh, Jig, don't say that to me.
Oh. Very emotional. Man, these games. I mean, they're more fun. Are we on? We're on. Yeah, we're on now.
We're live. We're going to do our intro as soon as the game ends.
I mean, look, these are more. What you want to make your point before about the NBA stuff?
Oh, you talking about the level of play, the quality of play?
Yeah.
I'll do it when we start our show because I don't want to get off my lawn, but I will do get off my lawn segment.
The closer games do make it more fun.
Yes,
I will say that. More exciting.
Brew says getting absolutely killed on the boards all night. I agree.
Definitely, that is a fact. All right, let's see what we do here. How much time are you at right now? What's happening in your
48 seconds?
You are significantly behind me.
Holy crap!
I will shut up.
Dansumu has a weird head.
Who?
Ayo Dansumu from Illinois. But he makes smart plays. I liked him at Illinois, but I thought he would never be able to shoot, and he's already improved at the pro level. Holy crap.
What's happening on your screen?
I don't want to ruin it, but I think we're going to overtime.
Yeah, we're going to overtime.
I think we got free basketball here, fellas.
A little bit of free basketball.
What a way to start a show. Well, I mean, we can't start the show because now we're going to sit here on live for extra 5 minutes. Anybody who watches this stream, like Randolph or somebody who watches the show after, they go like, oh, man, I got to skip like 10 minutes where these dudes
Donovan gaveth and taketh away there at the end.
He had a couple
Donovan
air balls.
pulled a Karis. Gave us some Karis. He Karis us at the end. He put us on the carousel.
Yeah, I just saw that.
He gave us the vertical.
He came in there like a bat out of hell just now because he threw that pass away.
He almost took it. He almost took it back.
I will say this, though. I was always advocating for Donovan not being, like just taking over late. And he didn't attempt to do much for the first, I don't know how many minutes. Oh, shut up, Mocha.
I mean, Donovan should always be the closer. But I can't help but think teams should still move the goddamn ball around at the end of games. Never been a lover of ISO ball. If you can find an open pass. I remember LeBron. Do you remember LeBron getting absolutely crushed for making the right play and getting Danielle the ball in the corner in that Pistons game?
Marshall game 2 against the Wizards?
Pistons. Was it Pistons or I think it was Pistons.
It was the
right?
Pistons. It was the Pistons series.
It was like a perfect no-brainer pass, right?
It was actually the right play. It was the right
play, right? He was under the basket.
In real time when we were watching it, we were like, but he's our Jordan, so we wanted to take that shot. You remember? You were like, we knew Jordan would have taken that shot. So
there was a party that was completely covered, right? I don't think he had an angle on it. And Danielle was wide open.
I think he could have went up for that.
Could he have?
He made up for it in game 5 and game 6. Because people forget game 5, we won by, I think we only won by 2.
Is that right? I can't remember game 5 because game 6 was the one where he just went absolutely video game in that series.
Yeah, game 5, I'm pretty sure we won game 5 by like 2 or 3. It was close.
Let's look at that one.
And there was that same the year before in 2006, that playoff series against the Wizards, there was like 3 game winners that he hit, like back to back to back, or 2, and then he got Damon Jones in the corner when Damon Jones came off the bench all ice cold. So it was like, we already know he can, but just give him a hard time.
Okay, so wait a second. So game 3, that was the one where he went video game James, right?
No. Game 6, the fourth quarter and overtime of game 6. Or yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking of the wrong year because Booby. Which was the one with the huge Booby Gibson game? That was game 6 of 2007.
7 with the Pistons, yes.
Oh, so 2006 was the video game James one. Oh my God, that's right. Chris Webber was on that team. Booby Gibson. Okay, so that was 2007, game 6.
It was our road to the finals. Yeah, so we definitely played the Spurs in 07 in the finals.
Oh. I remember being convinced that the Cavs had a chance in that.
Yikes.
Dork.
You watching this overtime right now?
Yeah.
I hate that we're on different times because I can't actually talk mess.
I know, it's frustrating.
I see Sebastian saying oy vey. I'm sure he just saw the way it's played out.
No. He said that during regular.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Danielle was another one of those wings that completely fell apart for us.
Man. I mean, there's a whole history of them. Like
Lucius Harris.
Oh. I feel like Yuri Welsh before we got him in Boston. I felt like the year. I was like, hey, his jumper kind of reminded me of Jetty, but I was like, his jumper's okay. And then he got here and I was like, holy crap, pass the ball. You can't shoot it all. It was the LeBron effect, man. Dudes were not used to not knowing when the ball was going to come and just getting bailout passes and expecting to hit shots. Nobody could do it. Yep.
That was it.
And the defenses knew what they were trying to do, so they were just like,
"Yep."
Oh.
Okay. Where you at?
Cavs up 109, 106.
Yep.
I feel like Barry might have been cursed. I feel like every acquisition he made, it was like, what did you just do that for?
It did
up until Delonte and Mo Williams.
It did seem that, yeah.
It was like
And then
everything he did.
I shouldn't be laughing.
It was like, what are we doing, and why do we keep every acquisition we make? Like Larry Hughes, like his sister died or something, and his like finger fell apart, and it was like, why did that just happen? Then Damon Jones, he forgot how to like play basketball together, unless he was just hitting an open shot. Daniel Marshall, like Sebastian just said, he forgot how to shoot like 10 whole percentage.
Garland.
Oh shit. DG.
You saw that at the same time I did?
No, I haven't seen it yet. What is he? He's hit like 6 or 7 threes today.
Yeah, he has. And he put us up too. Looking good tonight.
He had a swag back a little bit. He's definitely taking them corner threes when the ball finds him.
He's so fumbly.
Sebastian just said Mike Red made the biggest mistake of his career. I agree. You know who I really wanted that summer? Joe Johnson. I wanted Joe Johnson so bad.
Joe Johnson, absolutely.
I actually did not want Mike Red because I was a Buckeye fan.
Johnson too. Joe Johnson had such a great all-around game.
Michael Red feels like he's gonna fall apart, and he did like the next year. It's like he was never the same.
Joe Johnson had the best all-around game too.
Joe Johnson would have been the perfect wingman for LeBron. He would have never left if we had Joe Johnson. I promise you.
I agree. He also lasted forever.
Joe Johnson
still in the league? Isn't he still in the league?
Joe Johnson can get you a good 20 right now. Like, don't do it.
You'll never guess.
God damn it.
This thing.
What's happening? Why is Donovan Mitchell still stuck on 11? God damn it.
This is a wacky game, man.
It's weird. Lakers Clippers 12-12 halfway through the first. In order I wanted for that year, Ray Allen, Red, and then Joe Johnson. I didn't want Ray Allen. I don't think Ray Allen was a free agent that summer.
You didn't want Ray Allen? I can't see comments right now because I have this on full screen.
Okay.
Because I don't want to see the scores. I can see the scores if I don't. I don't want to be able. The scores on the top are ahead of the game.
Got it.
Which is obnoxious.
Levert.
You saw it now?
Dagger. Potential dagger. I don't want to jinx us.
So I was watching my niece had her first playoff game. And
how old is she?
She's 5th grade. And they got up 7 with 2.5 minutes left. And I didn't know the clock tick was running. And I didn't know that the 5th graders' clocks stop running at 2 minutes. So I made the idiotic comment. I said, oh, yeah, they're going to win. And then I noticed that the clock stopped running.
Right.
And like my whole family looked at me. And then all of a sudden, this girl on the other team, she had this beautiful shot. Starts just like knocking everything down. Yeah, like because she'd been airballing everything up until that point. And they're like, she nails a 3. 2. And they're within 1. And like everybody's just staring at me.
They're like,
I'm sitting here and I'm like, jinxes aren't real, you know? I'm like, that shit ain't real.
They all just turned and looked at you like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. After every shot. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like, man, I'm from Cleveland. I'm like, I'm not 100% sure.
I think
then
Brew
finally,
might have
with
some
1
good news
second
for us.
left, they got to stop and they won. And I was like, the
That's
whole
cool.
time I'm sweating. I'm like barely enjoying the poor girl's game. And they won. She won her first playoff game. Very happy for her. But the last 2 minutes were a little sketchy.
Painful experience.
I'm gonna make sure never to say that shit again.
My left palm is itching. Do you do the whole old wives' tale thing? Or what is that called? Superstition? What is it?
No, but not when I'm like coaching, because I feel like I have some control over the outcome, but I was when I didn't have any control over it. Like when I was sitting there, I started believing in jinxes all over again.
Mine is definitely. Wait a minute. My palm is itching. I wonder what's like.
When I watch when I watch the Cavs and I have zero control over the outcome, I do like to wear my favorite shirt and sit in my favorite position.
Yeah,
definitely.
Sebastian. Oh, first Allen signed back with Seattle. I totally forgot that Ray Allen was a free agent that summer.
Oh, he signed back with Seattle that first time. Then he
got traded in 2007 or
then the trade. Yeah, because I remember thinking he was a big pussy for that.
Going back to Seattle?
No, not for that. No. Yeah, that's always like you always admire that, right?
Right.
Wow, Halliburton's averaging 11.6 assists.
I miss the NBA in Seattle, man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Too.
I miss the Key Arena. That thing used to rock.
Me too, man. I want it back. You know what? Luke's like super into Sean Kemp right now.
Yeah.
And Gary Payton.
Oh, he's just learning about the Rain Man.
Yeah. Because he's like way into
baptized dudes, man.
He's way into like 90s basketball. So he like really likes
to baptize dudes. That book is doing it for him. I guarantee it.
Oh, he's way into that book. He's way into it. Like he's read everything. I didn't realize that. I didn't really think about that it was Bill Simmons. So like I started reading some of it myself and I was like, oh, he's like talking about like slutty chicks and like the
oh yeah, I did try to warn you about some of his
whatever.
I don't know why he did that knowing the kids are going to read that book.
Whatever. Like Luke doesn't know what he's talking about. He hasn't said a word about that, but like he was talking about like the pyramid of like best players and all that stuff. It makes me so happy. I'm like, I just love that. Like, but yeah, he's way into it. He's like asking me about like the best players. He's like, tell me about Rick Barry and like telling me about like all these random players from the 70s. And I saw him like yesterday. He was watching like 50s basketball. I was like, this is great.
Like, wait, now we're going back to a little too far. I love how Sebastian actually said just now that he started living in Seattle the year they left. He's talking about how the gloom was real.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sure, dude. That was amazing just now.
I remember a documentary that actually made me tear up when the Sonics left. I can't remember what was the name of that documentary.
Oh, I didn't see
Sonics. I think it was called Save Our Sonics or something like that.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it sucked.
Can I just say that my son was asking me about like who my favorite player was. And like I don't have a favorite single player.
Right.
But like if you pick like give me like 5. I was like going through the list. Gary Payton was awesome, right?
Yeah, no. I loved watching Gary Payton play.
Right? Like easily I realized like I forgot about Gary Payton for a long time.
Like dominant both ends.
Yes. Shit. Because I was like, so when I'd go back to that time, like I was like so focused on like Charles Barkley, Larry Johnson, Sean Kemp, like all those guys, like when I'd think about basketball. But then I'm like, no, I loved Gary Payton for like
there was a stretch when they traded Sean Kemp to the Cavs and they got back drunk Vin Baker. And 1996, 97. There was a stretch there where Gary Payton was a legitimate MVP candidate.
Absolutely, he was
2 or 3 years before he ended up going to Milwaukee.
Absolutely,
and I'm talking about he was dominant, like
dominant.
6'4", 6'5" guard. He had his offensive game had finally came around. I was listening earlier today to Eddie Johnson on NBA radio, and he was talking about because Gary Payton was one of his rookies in Seattle, and he was talking about how they like had to threaten him to get him to shoot more and to take more shots and stuff.
I'm not shocked to hear that
because he was just so selfless and he just wanted to create for everybody else. Gary Payton was a beast, man.
Beast. I love guys who talk shit. That's like, I think, I don't know, something about that appeals to me. I love that competitiveness, and I love that they just get in guys' heads. Part of why I always love Chuck.
We're gonna have 20 minutes of dead air before we finally get this thing started.
I know.
I need these dudes to close us out, though. Yeah, I think Sebastian just said those Sonics teams were 1/3 All-Star away from beating the Bulls. I agree 100%.
Absolutely.
They had those top two dudes, and they had a bunch of just solid contributors like Detlef Schrempf, Nate McMillan,
that
I can see some of the dudes fake Hersey Hawkins, like dudes that were like they were solid, but yeah, they had no answer for the Bulls.
Wow,
Hersey Hawkins. Vincent Askew for some reason. I remember
Hersey
that name.
any relation to
Connie Hawkins?
Connie. Yeah, Connie.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. Hersey Hawkins was a baller. Ricky Pierce was there for a little bit of time.
Hersey was a big time baller.
You remember Ricky Pierce? He was a shooter. So, and when I was Luke's age, it's like 88, 89 or so, and I fell in love with the game. I used to love watching the Milwaukee Bucks because they had Sidney Moncrief.
Moncrief, I definitely remember.
And there was a third guard that was scoring. Oh shoot. They were some ballers. And then they had like a bunch of forwards who were like point forwards and stuff. And they just like were just creating for those guards. I used to love watching those Bucks teams. And then he left the Bucks, went over to the Sonics. Double. Wow.
That was the biggest crock of shit, that call for DeMar.
Wow. He is such a foul merchant. I can't even like watch him.
That was the biggest crock of shit call.
It's so hard to watch him play basketball.
That was a straight up play. Straight up play. Donovan should have hit that. He really should have hit that. He had the separation. He got the straight up shot. I'm guessing tired legs there. He should have had that. Ay. Come on, guys. What was that guy up to? Are you on the broadcast where that dude was just dancing?
Can I advocate for something right now?
By all means.
Can I get 6 points from Donovan in this double overtime?
Yeah, for God's sake.
I don't even want to. If I share my screen with you, I almost don't want to share my screen. Like I can win some money. I got like a couple tickets that I'm looking over here, and one of the tickets that had like a $20 ticket. I won't even tell you because it's going to jinx me.
What's it for?
I'm not telling you. I need Donovan to come and take this game in this.
What is it? 6 points for him?
I just need 6 points. I need 6 points from Donovan Mitchell
in this overtime.
In this next overtime,
I think he's going for 6.
Or we can go triple overtime. I don't care. Just give me 6 points.
6 more points, man. That's bold.
That's not a lot to ask for. Oh, wait.
He's a tired fella right now.
He shouldn't be. He ain't did shit. He got like I think 14 points for the game. I think he just hit 10 field goal attempts. He was chilling the whole night.
Mobley having a big night.
Mobley's been balling. Garland was balling.
Well, the 6 is interesting because you figure nobody else is really going to be getting any shots now.
Yeah, I mean, if it's going to be him and DeMar playing foul merchant against each other. I'm okay with that.
God, that was such a bad call.
That was a terrible call.
That was a bad call, man.
Can I admit something? Just like here, I know we're live, but Trae Young just had surgery, so I think they're gonna shut him down for a while.
Ugh.
I actually like watching Atlanta when he's not there playing. And
are they good to watch when he's out?
I want to say they won the last 2 games, or they might have got upset yesterday, or they might have lost yesterday. But the ball moves more. What's his name? DeJounte Murray is cool with.
I like DeJounte.
Jalen Johnson initiating more. They look like a better team altogether without that kid on the floor. They need to trade him to San Antonio.
I just can't stand Trae.
They need to trade Trae Young to San Antonio is what they need to do. Cavs beat Lakers in 4 overtimes in 1980s. Bring me 4 overtimes.
Oh, come on, man. Call that.
Oh, Jig, don't ruin it for me. Holy crap. Yeah.
Now you're I think
I'm
you're
behind.
actually a second ahead of me. No, I think you're a second. If you said holy crap about that 3, I think you're ahead of me.
Okay. I'm gonna have to go in and take this off of YouTube in order to trim it so we could take this whole, because it's like a whole half hour.
I'm telling you, Garland in big situations. Gonna need a basket here.
Donovan is hobbled right now. Is his hamstring bothering him?
Maybe.
This guy. Spoiled goods, man.
That'll do her.
Yeah. Oh, he still got 341.
Yeah, I guess there's.
Kobe White just traveled his ass off. My feed is behind you.
All right, we're good. Yeah, I was concerned they weren't going to get a stop there.
Sebastian
good
just
ball
said
movement. Shit, that was good ball movement.
Sebastian said he remembered the Denver game in 1994.
How was that off on
triple overtime?
Which one?
Denver, 1994.
Oh man, I don't remember that.
Can somebody convince Darius that he is only 6'1"? And I don't get it.
I just see a Bulls basket coming here. Drummond, big ass of his. Guys, come on. Christ, Mike. This brutal.
What is happening, and why isn't Donovan Mitchell even seeing the ball?
Must be hurt. It's bad basketball. Bad basketball. What the hell's the call here? What did they call? How's the Bulls' ball right now? They call a foul? Get that ball to Drummond's thick ass.
The whole Donovan, Darius, Karras lineup, that needs to be buried, and I never want to see it again for the rest of my life.
Which one? Donovan, Karras, Darius?
Yeah, I never want to see that lineup ever again.
Where is Sam Merrill? Why can't we have Sam Merrill in that game?
Because we can't have nice things.
Darius.
I just watched Karis LeVert do everything in his power and then blow a wide open layup. Like, well, not wide open, but point blank.
You're way back there. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Wow. What do you see?
Sebastian said after the first quarter of that game, he talked about that Denver game. It was 15-10 for Fratello. Uh-oh. These dudes are going to kill our vibe for this show, Jig. They're totally going to kill our vibe.
I'm telling you. This is one of the worst overtime performances I can remember from the Cavs. It just got worn down here.
I'm seeing way too much. I don't usually say this, but Darius, come on, man. And why is Donovan taking a back seat?
Well, this is going to be the possession right here. I'm grossed out by what I've seen so far.
Monster game last night, dead legs. They didn't have to have dead legs. The Bulls played, I think, 10 or 12. I don't know. They might have played like 12 guys. I see dudes playing for the Bulls.
Oh, my God. Go ahead.
I don't even know half these guys are playing for the Bulls. Like some of these dudes like created players.
Well, we shouldn't be here because that call getting them into overtime was horrible. But with all that said, they are here. And this has been just awful, awful basketball.
Yeah. Andre Drummond is dumb.
Dead legs. Dead legs. Yeah, Andre Drummond is definitely dumb.
Is Jared Allen fouled out? Like, I don't. What?
I'm about to flip this one off. Oh, yeah, turn this one off. This is the worst 5-minute stretch of basketball I've ever seen a Cavs play.
Yeah.
This team, anyways. Where is Jarrett? Where is Sam Merrill?
That's what. So that's what I was. Oh, he just went up there and missed both of these free throws. Oh, kid, you're killing me.
I think they gave up. Right? I mean, is that what we're looking? Look at that. If I see a steal here, I'll stick with it. But if not, I'll throw this one. Did they call a fucking foul there? Oh, DeRozan is the absolute worst. The worst. Oh, that was a foul. Strus, you idiot. How do you do that? All right, this is bad. Bad basketball. All right, let's get into some. Let's talk about last night.
Let me check before we do that. Let me check my. Ron is saying I can't even turn this off after last night's comeback. No.
Who is A to Z Crypto? Is that Ron?
I don't think so. I can't remember. He's been in our. Who is A to Z Crypto?
A to Z Crypto. What is your name on the board?
Oh. What is that? I know that. What is that?
AJZ. Yeah.
Was that Garfield and Friends you were just whistling?
Oh, no. I'll tell you when we do our album.
Pretty sure I just heard Garfield and Friends from our Saturday morning cartoon.
I can't remember the Garfield and Friends. Garfield and Friends theme.
Yep. It actually wasn't a really good show, I don't think. Oh, look, Jared Allen plays basketball. Didn't give up. Team was gassed. Coach deserves criticism for not expanding the rotation.
I agree on that.
I agree because he knew what we had coming into the night, and especially coming off of emotional game like last night.
Oh, let's hear this Garfield and Friends intro. I didn't like that show.
I didn't like it because they did a bunch of stuff with the barn, animals and stuff. I was like, what are these guys?
I can't watch this. I didn't like that show.
I did like Heathcliff. I did like
I like Heathcliff, no one should terrorize the neighborhood. Yeah, I like that show.
I liked Heathcliff. All right, fellas. Some of you guys have been in here with us since overtime started.
I'm gonna shake this off. I'm just gonna shake this off. I'm gonna have fun. We're gonna talk a little bit about last night. We're gonna accept this. I think as a one of those bumps in the road.
Take this L.
Carry this. We're gonna hold this L.
Hold this L. Man, they were right there. That's frustrating.
Yeah, I think they were gas. I agree.
How much time you got left?
As long as we could have a good time talking.
You got 30 seconds left in your clock still.
On my clock.
Yeah, the game.
Oh, in the game. Oh, I turned the game off.
Oh, yeah. Did you see Donovan hit the 3?
Is the game still going? Is it watchable?
Well, no, they just scored again.
I was gonna say no. I turned that shit off.
I was like, hey, it's still going.
I didn't feel like that was they're down.
U.S. Acres, Jim Davis's other comic strip.
I didn't know he had another comic strip.
Comics, I used to love, like, comic strips are lost art.
Yeah. I used to watch. I used to read Calvin and Hobbes was a big one for me.
I love Calvin and Hobbes. I got a couple books. I got a couple Calvin and Hobbes books with like the archives of their strips and stuff.
Oh yeah. I had them.
I liked Family Circus.
Family Circus, I never read. But yeah, I had all the. Oh my god. Fuck was that? Oh.
I like Jumpstart. Jumpstart was pretty good.
These guys. Which one was Jumpstart? Was that the one with Curtis?
It was the black family, the police officer.
Yeah, I think Curtis was the main character.
Brand new baby. That was right. Yeah. Akron Beacon Journal. It was right before I think before middle school and stuff.
Yeah, I think Curtis was the main character in that one. I like that one.
Yeah, his name was Curtis.
With the hat, with the sideways.
Yeah.
Baggy jeans. Yeah, I remember.
Jumpstart was pretty good. Yeah, comic strips are a lost art.
Did you ever read or did you ever watch Bebe's Kids?
I love Bebe's Kids. That was like one of my favorite. It was like early 90s. It was like one of my favorite movies because it was Robin Harris was so dirty.
Robin Harris. That's right. Yeah. I love Bebe's Kids. Bebe's Kids.
We don't die, we multiply.
We don't die, we multiply.
All right. We're going to help these guys change the page on this because there's going to be some frustrated Cavs fans in here.
Let's roll. Let's go.
You ready? Can you hear this when I do this?
Can I hear?
You don't hear that laughing and stuff?
It was very garbled. Yeah, now I hear it. Yeah, that's good.
These guys coming in here with pitchforks out, and I'm trying to be in a good mood and be all happy about yesterday and be all excited about the
damn Cavs. We shouldn't have even watched that game. Should skip the game. We should have known.
All right. Are you okay on time? We got to get this.
Yeah, whatever.
All right.
Yeah. Hang in there.
Let's do it.
It's basketball time at the kids.
Rubber Rim Job, Season 3, Episode 12. Max Strus juice, Jig. And it feels weird because we were getting ready to come in here and celebrating and happy. Like what a crazy shot! It dominated the conversation around the entire league.
Yeah,
and then this trap game against these Bulls, and it totally popped the air out of our balloon, kind of thing.
Damn.
You know, I'm about to turn this off so I don't keep looking over here at the scores. I'm getting frustrated the more I look over here.
Still watching it.
Donovan is shooting free throws, but I'm gonna try to act like it's not even happening.
Yeah.
That is what this whole thing is all about, sports fandom. Because you'll have 1 week, like even with the Browns, you'll have 1 week where you're like, oh yeah, like then the next week they won't show up against like a lowly Denver team or something like that, and you're like, oh, like just as good as I felt last week, I feel terrible this week. And I'm talking about less than 24 hours. Like, do you know how exhilarating that shot was? Like, I retweeted there people taking videos inside the Rock, and you saw everybody stand up and stuff in unison. And it's like, man, it hasn't been like that since it was a Q, you know, since the LeBron and everything like that. It hasn't been like that since then.
Mm-hmm.
And here we go. Less than 24 hours later, these dudes dead legs and
lesson learned, right?
Lesson
learned, right?
Why do we put ourselves through this?
The roller coaster, baby.
The Ohio players, shout out to you.
Or Chili Peppers, right?
I didn't know that they did. Did they cover that?
Oh, they did. Yeah, I like the Chili Peppers version better. But yeah, the Ohio players for sure.
So in the background of the Ohio players version, there was a part, I want to say it's right before the second hook, and some of the older guys can tell me. There's a part where supposedly you can hear like a scream in the background, and somebody said, oh, there was a person in the studio.
I've heard this.
That was supposedly murdered during the sessions or something like that.
Yeah.
So when I was younger, when somebody told me this, my uncle told me this when I was like maybe 9 years old. And so I recorded it. I had the tape. I recorded it off of something. Oh, okay. I took, you know how we used to have those little like speak things and stuff, like with the little microphones attached to it. Mm-hmm. So I used to have a little recorder just like that. And I walked up to my grandparents had the vinyl for it. Mm-hmm. And so I dropped the needle and I recorded it with the microphone, and I went upstairs to my room and I listened, and I'm like turning up the volume, trying to hear the scream in the background and stuff. Like that was my own little
Did you catch it? Did you ever hear it?
It sounded like a scream in the background. It was really faint because it was a secondhand recording. But to this day, you can't convince me that wasn't like a scream in the background. I don't know what happened, but
did it freak you out?
Somebody was on a roller coaster, I guess, and they just screamed in another room.
Did it freak you out? Did you find it to be?
It definitely freaked me out. Like I don't think I had like hairs on my arms and stuff at 9, but I definitely didn't sleep that night, and I kept seeing like unsolved mysteries and stuff like that. So
I'm gonna give you the freakiest, to me, the freakiest music moment in history. And no, it's not the cranberry sauce backwards thing from the Beatles, which I believe is on the White Album. It is from the Fire on High song from ELO, the Electric Light Orchestra. Amazing song, tremendous song. It's the intro from Fire on High. I can describe it no better than it sounds like a demon jumping off of a bed and running through a house. It sounds very Lovecraftian. It sounds like something out of an H.P. Lovecraft novel converted
from
into
the Fire
a
on
movie.
High.
Fire on High song. Fire on High. Every time I hear it, even to this day, it definitely makes the hair on the back of my neck stand. Yeah, it definitely gives me chills.
It's a lost art. I hope that you pass some of this stuff down to your kids. Like
I do.
There's so many stories and stuff that we had when we were growing up that our uncles and everybody just like made sure, you know, like, and I remember like us having like bonfires and people drinking beers and stuff, and them like, don't tell the kids that. It's like, no, I got to tell them. And he was like, no, tell us, you know,
gotta pass it on.
Tell us.
Got to pass it on. I would recommend that's not my music recommendation, but
absolutely
I would strongly recommend that song. It's a beautiful song, but it is a very creepy stretch.
All right.
Yeah. Sebastian's. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah,
so we're attempting to turn the page on this debacle that we just watched.
Please.
And we're going to give you a little bit of this, but one of the main things that I wanted to do with this episode was absolutely, you know, I was going to say get lost in the moment of what happened last night, but then in order to do that, you also have to acknowledge that the moment got squandered very badly right here.
We got lost and found by the zebras tonight. Found us and lost our rebounding.
And so all day today, I've listened to everything. I've listened to podcasts. I listened to like radio, NBA radio and stuff, because, and this happens throughout the course of the season. There'll be some games, there'll be some moments where you have the whole basketball world. Like we had this with LeBron pretty often, but the whole basketball world was talking about Max Strus, that shot.
Right.
But then if you could find people who were knowledgeable, they talked about how he actually had like a 5-3 run in that fourth quarter where it was like unreal, like the shots he was hitting and everything like that. Mavericks pretty much, they did what they needed to do in order to win that game. And it just felt like the Cavs were just like, specifically Strus, because he was getting crap all game from Luka. And he was just battling. You saw him arguing with the refs. Was it the game before where he had fouled somebody on the baseline or something, and they almost like argued, they were almost fighting and stuff? Like Strus is a tough kid.
He's a winner.
And so you just had to feel good for him. You had to feel good for him last night. Definitely. For that happening for him.
Definitely.
Yep. So awesome shot, man. There's been shots in our past, like we hopefully have a big win. Yeah, because our next game is against Detroit, so we'll be okay. There's been shots in the past, and for me, like last night while I was watching it, I was like, man, I remember when I was, I used to listen to Joe Tate on the radio, and I would negotiate, with my sisters and other people in the house, like, can we just turn on channel 43 for a second, like just for a minute, Matty Gukas and Michael Regai. And if it was like
Michael Regai too. He's your guy.
No, I hated Michael Regai. If a game was close at the end and it was like, I gotta see this now, like I can't just listen to it kind of thing. And the game that always stands out, I've referenced it before, but the game that I was like, man, I'm so glad that not only am I basketball junkie, but that I love the Cavs. There were two of them. The first one happened in 92. It was against the Celtics. I want to say in the first round, it was 2-1. We were down in the series. And this was the Celtics' last hurrah. Brew might know what I'm talking about. So Larry Bird was out there with a half of a back running around in that series. And for some reason, we went to overtime. I think we were in the Boston Garden. And I want to say Hot Rod Williams had 2 or 7 game series. Oh, yeah, okay. 2 or 3 blocks I remember Hot Rod Williams having. And I just remember Larry Nance carrying us in that game 4. And so that was the first one. And ultimately, that was the end of the Celtics, when we ended up winning that series. But then the second one that I remember like it was yesterday was Terrell Brandon and Travis Best. So you remember Travis Best from Indiana?
I do remember Travis Best.
Went to Georgia Tech, point guard, number 3, I want to say.
I do.
He was actually in a movie, and it just came to my head. He Got Game, Spike Lee.
I remember He Got Game. Ray
Allen had his high school teammates, and there was Walter McCarthy from Kentucky, a couple of the guys, but Travis Best was the point guard for his high school team in that movie. And about 95, 90, yeah, Jesus Shuttlesworth. About 95, Cavs are playing the Pacers. I want to say it's in December. I remember it was December because it was cold, and I was locked in my jammies, 7:00 game, just watching it and stuff. And I'm just like, I think I had rushed through school that day. I was like, I want to watch this Cavs versus Pacers game. And the Pacers were missing a bunch of guys, but Travis Best, who's usually the backup point guard, was starting, and him and Terrell Brandon were going back and forth. I think they both had about 20 points. Came down to it. Best hit a shot with 15 seconds or so. And then Terrell Brandon, with the length of the court and from the free throw line, hit a game winner. And that was the first time that I was like, so it's just moments like that when it's Luke and some of the younger guys who I know who are catching, NBA fever and Cavs fever. You're just happy for them when you know that they got a moment like that Max Strus shot last night, there's no, and it wasn't even, I called this a heave on our thing. That was not a heave. That was a shot. It was literally him pulling up from 60 feet as if he, he had the little run and start and everything like that. So Do you remember any of those from your childhood where you're like, man, that shot, I can't believe we just hit that?
Can I tell you? I'm gonna throw you one that is actually not Cavs. Can I throw you an Indians one?
Sure.
I'm gonna throw you a random Indians one for an odd reason. I was grounded in 97 when Tony Fernandez hit one against the Baltimore Orioles, and I would later learn, if I recall correctly, that it went over the that right field fence in Camden Yards, and I was grounded for that entire game. But my mom did me a solid, and she had the game on like louder than usual, so I was able to listen to it down in the living room the entire time.
Shout out to mom, man. Shout out to her.
Big time shout out to mom, because it was my stepdad that was driving that grounding. I can't remember what the reason was for it, but I remember he was the one that pushed that grounding, and my mom knew that the fucking World Series was on. And I think
World Series? It was
or the ALCS, but they made the World Series.
The ALCS in 97, yeah.
They made the World Series. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he hit, which was Tony Fernandez, so you wouldn't have been expecting it, but he hit a home run. And so I remember hearing it, and I wasn't supposed to be, obviously, but I remember leaping up from the dinner table and sprinting around the house after he did it, and running into the living room and watching it. But part of my grounding was that I wasn't supposed to be watching TV. But I do remember that. And it's funny because it's actually a very difficult video to find. And I remember not being able to find that particular highlight until like a few years ago. But it was just funny because I remember him.
You heard it, but you didn't get to see it live.
I heard it, but I didn't get to see it until like I don't even know. It was like I think I saw it for the first time probably like 10 years ago somehow, but then I like went back and rewatched it. Yeah, I obviously there's been Cavs game winners that I've seen. I just can't remember them. But that was an Indians one. I'm going to tell you a random one of the first game winners that I remember seeing. We're not going to count Christian Laettner, because that was the first big one that a lot of people saw. I want to see if you remember this one. This was like one of the first ones that I remember learning about basketball game winners. Cameron Dollar, UCLA, sprinting the length of. You remember this?
Yeah, no. You and I talked about this on another episode
we talked about this on this show?
Yep.
Did we? Cameron Dollar sprinting the length of the court for UCLA on the Ed O'Bannon on the O'Bannon twins team. Right. That was the first time I remember. I distinctly remember being in my basement, and I remember thinking to myself, "Oh damn, just watched like a little guy sprinting the length of the court, laying the ball up." Because my dad told me like going coast to coast as a little guy is like a big thing.
Right.
I remember seeing him do that, and I was like, "Shit, that was cool. I want to do that." I would have been like 8, 9 at the time. Not Cavs, but I remember thinking that was cool. I want to do that one day.
I remember. So when you just said little guy, I remember Earl Boykins game winner.
Hell yeah. For the Cavs?
For the Cavs.
Oh, I don't remember Earl Boykins.
It was actually a Magic night that night. Too. I want to say it might have been against the Magic, and I want to say he had like 20 that night.
Let me look this up. I'm going to look it up. Go on.
I just distinctly remember because I was actually in the arena. Oh, it might. You know what? It might have been against the Nuggets, because I feel like James Posey had just got drafted by the Nuggets. But I just remember Earl Boykins hitting a game winner.
He's like made a few apparently
for us. Dude was talented.
He played for a lot of teams. So here's a winning shot at 4 seconds left versus New Jersey.
Yeah, he had some game winners.
Here's one.
Bruce said it's too soon to talk about the 97 World Series. That's why we just changed it. That's why we just changed the channel on this guy.
Wizards versus Celtics, game 6.
Was that 97 team? Was that Matt Williams at third base or Travis Fryman?
In 2007?
1997.
Sorry. In 97, that would have been Matt Williams.
Matt Williams, yeah. Yep.
97 was Matt Williams.
Yep. from the Diamondbacks.
They had some studs.
Yeah, no, they were stacked.
They were stacked.
So yeah, so these guys are having a full conversation here about this game. We got to let these guys get this off their chest, right?
Yeah, we got to rip this off.
We want to keep the good
Hispania.
vibes and everything like that, but they're getting ready to burn down the studio if we don't.
I agree.
If we don't talk about us being out rebounded by Andre Drummond, like right now.
Yeah, so Andre Drummond's thick ass was running all over the court, out rebounding us. I didn't even know Andre Drummond was still in the league. I think I should have known he was still in the league because if he's grabbing that many boards, he's probably doing it to everybody. But he looked like Oliver Miller out there.
He did look like Oliver Miller. Andre Drummond definitely has gained about 20 pounds since he played in Cleveland.
I mean, good Lord. What is he eating out there in Chicago? He must be eating a lot of Lou Malnati's. He must be pounding that Lou Malnati's out there without very much consideration for his cardio.
Can I admit that I've never been to Chicago, Jig?
For real?
To this day.
It's a great city. It's a great city. If you ever go, you got to pack in April like you're visiting in October. And if you ever go in October, you got to pack like you're visiting Antarctica.
I've never been to Chicago. And there's a part of me, because I do, I get around a lot, but because it's always now, it's so associated with like gang and street violence and stuff like that, that I'm just like.
Rightly so. Always been a problem there.
Because I don't like doing the whole tourist thing. So like whenever I pull into a city, I'm driving, I'm checking things out. I'm usually off the beaten path, and I don't even want to tempt that kind of stuff in Chicago.
Here's the thing, though, man. Just like anywhere, if you're concerned about like crime and all that kind of shit, you just got to stay out of the.
Yeah, no, that's true.
You got to stay out of the right. Because if you go to I'll put it to you this way: if you told me tomorrow that you were going to go to Chicago, I would tell you, I could give you a list of places to go, and none of them would be in like
the bad
East
area.
Chicago, like where Kenny Lofton grew up, or Gary, Indiana. You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
right.
You'd be in the right spots. Like if you went down to Wrigleyville, unless things have changed significantly, you'd be perfectly safe. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you were going out to like the right spots, or like if you were going to go down to the Navy Pier, again, unless things have changed significantly, I think you're in good shape.
So like the way I roll, and I'm just telling you the way my brain works. If I'm like, before I even get to a city, like I'm usually looking up like music history and stuff.
Absolutely.
So I know like Chess Records was there.
It was.
Donny Hathaway and
right.
Dude from Earth, Wind and Fire, Maurice White, he got his start in Chicago, and he was talking about the scene there and stuff. So for me, I'm gonna look for that history, and I'm like, but that history is gonna be in the bad part, because like if you go down to Memphis, like how Stax Records are in southwest Memphis, is not a good area. Like they've got the museum and everything like that. Even Presley, Graceland, that area is terrible. So like those are the kind of things that I go to whenever I go to cities.
Would you go to Buddy Guy's Legends out in Chicago?
Yes, Buddy Guy. Yep.
Yeah, Buddy Guy's is awesome. Awesome. Okay. Awesome. Would you go to like Second City?
So I don't. That's the thing. I still have to learn. Like I know my way around New York because I've been there now.
So Buddy Guys is I can't tell you a whole hell of a lot about like what I mean, like Buddy Guys down near that's the Loop. I mean, I know that's the Loop down there, and like it's over by the I don't know. I don't want to speak exactly. I know where that is. It's like right on the shore and all that stuff. I'm looking at it right now. Oh, there's a medieval torture museum over there. Well, you can't miss that shit. Medieval torture museum. You got to hit that.
Oh, we're in there.
Huh?
I say we got to make our way over there. Add it to our list.
Do you like museums and all that kind of stuff, or do you
Yeah, I
miss
do.
that stuff?
I do. I
Because
check
they
out the
got
museum.
some of the best museums in the country too.
Okay.
But Buddy
And
Guys was amazing. I don't know. I like that kind of stuff. Like I like going for all the.
Well, the
museums.
one thing that was not on display was rebounding for the Cavs tonight. So,
yeah,
Trent, you like that?
Transition City. I like that transition. I would agree with that.
And
saw a lot. Yeah,
we had dead legs for sure coming off
a lot
of
of
the
dead
high of
legs out
last
there.
night's game. Problem with that is Chicago just had their game as well. Like, so Chicago played the night before as well. Here's I gotta say this, and I don't want to get off good vibes, history, everything like that. That year when Rubio went down, and then
Rubio, sore subject, right?
Yeah, and then right after the All-Star break, it was like we couldn't even buy a win. We were like underperforming, and it feels like the rest of the league flips a switch, and it's like, all right, let's go. And the things that we like, all right, well, we just started building momentum, and this is working for us. That we can't rely on that, so it calls for in-game adjustments. It calls for being on top of the ball with rotational things and stuff like that. And it just, man, it feels eerily like we're getting ready to have another. And Brew, I know Brew is gonna be like, "Duh, don't go there." There was a feeling that it was like, oh man, like we are not gonna be in the best position to win this game. And this is coming off of last night's game where it was like, oh man, like we should not have won that game because we pulled that out of our asses. That we should not have won last night's game. But then tonight, there was a feeling that it was like, man, we're gonna lose this game. Like you just saw it. You saw the feel of the game. It was just off. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like,
yeah,
we're not steering this. Like we're not taking the fight to them. We're not schematically just not like. I'm tired of saying it, but once the teams flip a switch and it's like, all right, the season started. Let's go. With like 40 games to go, 30 games to go, the same thing keeps rearing its head. If it was okay when we came into this game tonight, we knew that we traveled after having a rough game, then we should have had an extended rotation as soon as the game started.
I agree.
Like we probably should have shown different bodies to Drummond. Like we got Damian over there. And if Donovan's legs are really that dead, even if I don't know if CPJ on the sidelines right now, because I keep seeing Sharif Cooper for some reason, but
CPJ actually passed away.
Yeah,
he passed away on the way back from.
If we're not seeing Sam Merrill, then we should be seeing CPJ.
Why are we not seeing
for games
Merrill?
like this?
What happened to Merrill?
I don't know, but I don't want to complain.
No-brainer. What's the deal? Well, why?
I don't know.
CPJ was. It seemed like Comeback Kid. I think Comeback Kid's got his finger on the pulse here, man.
Sometimes
he's got his finger on the pulse of the team.
Sometimes Comeback Kid actually brings it a little bit. There's another guy, and I'm trying to remember his thing. He's a prickly guy. Not Simon. Not what's his name? Oh shoot. I don't know, but he's on the board and he's like Cavs Kermit or something like that.
Cavs Kermit is quite prickly.
Okay, yeah, prickly, yeah. He's kind of taken the mantle from John.
Futurdom is also quite prickly.
Well, that's different though. Like like Cavs Kermit, like is not like trying to get a rise out of people. Like Cavs Kermit will just pop up and just be like, I'm gonna just say it like it is. Futurdom is like, he wishes he could be like prime Jig back in the day when you used to like just pop in and just like try to get under people's skin and stuff. And it's frustrating to see. It's like, man, we could hire Cavs Kermit or Comeback Kid right now, and I feel like we'd have lost it. We'd have won this game right here. And it's frustrating to admit that because there's just stubbornness and a refusal to adapt that is going. I hate that it keeps rearing its head. So the way we close this game out with LeVert, Garland, and Mitchell, I'm tired of seeing that. I never want to see that lineup again. I said it before the show started. But that's the lineup that we went into overtime with, and I hate that lineup.
I agree.
I hate it.
I agree. I just don't see any reason why Merrill couldn't have been in that lineup. It was very clear that we needed more shooting. Strus was having a bad night. He wasn't going to shoot his way back into the game. I don't see any reason even that Allen wasn't in the game when Drummond was rebounding his ass off. I don't see any reason why Allen couldn't have been on him.
I didn't understand that either, and I was sitting here like, why is Jared Allen not in the game right now? And Mobley was being moved around. Like when Mobley was out there with Allen, Mobley was balling. Mobley was playing more like a 4 and
he
a
plays
3.
better with Allen out there. I mean,
It's like, man, like these dudes can get stuck behind the 8 ball with a really stubborn guy that doesn't put them in a position to do, like tonight was a scheduling loss if you go into it and say, all I got is 7 or 8 guys.
Yeah, it didn't have to be, though.
Didn't have to be.
Didn't have to be. I just, there is this, to me, it's very clear. Hell, even Okoro could have been in certain situations where he wasn't.
Can we say something? Can we give Isaac Okoro some love? Because we haven't done a show
we need to.
in a little bit of time.
We need to.
Isaac Okoro is coming, man. Like he's coming along. Like he's found he's found his niche. And so whatever light we were waiting for a light bulb to go on for him, which is like if you're watching what's happening with Isaac Okoro this year, you can't help but be excited about Mobley because it looked very dim for Isaac Okoro like last year at this time.
Interesting.
It was like, man, he just won't put it together. He'll give us a teasing game, then he goes back to this. He does this, and he goes back to that. This season right here, like he's been like, and he's moved around too in the rotation. So it's not like we made him a 6-man or something like that. Like he started, he's played. We've asked different things from him, but he knows who he is now. And he's like, when he comes into a game, he gets off a bus and he knows what he wants to do. Right. Where it felt like for the first 3 years, it was like,
I have a theory.
Even know how his bread is buttered. Go ahead.
I have a theory. I think it's the hair.
I'm down with that.
What was going on with LeVert's hair early in the season? Did he have a pick in there? Did he have a pick inside the headband?
What do you mean, in the game?
No, early in the season when LeVert had his hair out, was there a pick and he had a headband on? Did he have a pick? You remember when he had like an afro?
Oh yeah, no, I've definitely seen LeVert with fro.
Okay. And then he had like a headband. And then inside the headband, it almost looked like he had a pick. Did he have a pick in there?
Not that I know of.
You don't remember seeing this?
I felt though that like I was like earlier in the year, I felt both LeVert and Donovan at one point in time were like quiet quitting on us. And there was a couple stretches where I was just super frustrated with LeVert's approach to the game, but also like when he was in the games and stuff, it was just like he's not on the same page and it feels like a malcontent. He's not doing that now, but there's been stretches over the last few games where I'm like, man, we don't need LeVert and Bang Bang Yang Gang out there. And it's just it calls for adjustments. What do we got right now, Jig? We got like 20-something games before the playoffs start here.
I think that's right.
Holding on to the second seed by a string because Milwaukee has, Doc Rivers has found something where he's got it clicking a little bit. They're starting to play a little bit more to their potential. And a part of that was them acquiring Pat Beverly, but then also a part of it was Doc saying to Pat Bev and Jay Crowder, you guys are going to be a part of the rotation. Like you guys are going to be a part of the top 8 and you're going to play. And so Doc Rivers went away from like the Marshawn Beauchamp and some of these younger guys. And he's like, all right, we're going to play these vets. And so the Bucks are starting to click a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot at stake for this down the stretch here for this 20 games because the Bucks are coming for that second. Like they're like, that's our seed. We want that seed kind of thing. So we can't afford to have games like this where it's very obvious that we were going to have dead legs before we got here, and we still came out with like a 7 or 8 man rotation.
Yeah, that was really it. At the very least, they just needed to extend the rotation. Simple as that. At least give the guy a chance.
I'm looking at Levert pictures with his hair. I don't think so, Jig. I think you might have
there was
imagined
sticking out. No. I'm certain of it. If you just look at the games, so you had afro, headband, and there was something white sticking out near his ear.
Maybe it's like his cigarettes.
I'm asking you because I never had the luxury of sticking a pick in my afro.
This is not true, Sebastian. Did he play 39 minutes tonight?
Look.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna find it. I'll find a picture.
One of the things that I'd like to know is because during that stretch where there was no Garland and no Mobley, guess who led the team with plus 12 tonight? Brew was going to tell us because he's going to tell us it was Levert.
I know he's going to tell us it's Levert. No, it wasn't. No.
Isaac Okoro?
I see who it was. Of course it was.
Who was that?
I'll give you a hint. Coach? Yeah. Coach.
If you're watching at home, guess who led the team with plus 12 tonight?
Yeah. Come back, kid.
Diener. Drippy
Dean.
I like Drip.
Of course. Statistically, Karras looked like he had a pretty good game, and he did have 39 minutes. He didn't lead the team, but he had a lot of minutes. He also had statistics plus minus wise, which is, you know what? I'm not even going to bother. Plus minus is useless. Karras, I got to find a picture of this for you. I remember watching. I was trying to figure out what the hell it was.
The Karras LeVert thing is really got you.
There was a white something sticking out of his headband to the side. I was like, the only thing I'd ever seen that looked like that was when guys would wear afro picks. And it looked like that, but I was like, is somebody allowed to wear that on the floor?
So I think the message needs to get back to Isaac Okoro that the blowout, throw out thing that he does is definitely works for his game.
It works. It definitely works. I think guys play better with it.
He looks like an entirely different player when he's rocking that.
Absolutely.
So that needs to be a part of his thing because I just want to show him some love because the light bulb has definitely gone on for him, and we saw it in spurts last year.
Yes,
and we're seeing it in spurts for Mobley too. So I
agree.
For some weird reason, there was a predetermined we're going to get these guys going tonight because both Garland and Mobley were super aggressive tonight. And they seem to be, as opposed to Donovan and Jared, they seem to be the guys that were like, this is 1A and 1B. Let's run everything through these two guys.
Right.
It didn't stay consistent. And then when it was winning time, of course, we tried to just, okay, now we'll just do this instead and we'll go to Donovan. And it wasn't fluid, so, but it's you can see it fizzing. It's just not catching fire for Mobley, but it's coming because we see it right now.
I think this is a good example that you're using here. I appreciate this. I think that Okoro is a good comp for Mobley. I appreciate that.
Just his production and how consistent it is this year, where you can actually you can count on it. Like you can put him in the book. Yeah. Like his number, his line for guys who bet and stuff like that. It's always like 6.5 points, and he's cleared it in like 10 straight games. Like we know what he's going to do. We know how he's going to probably 2 rebounds, a 1-3, about 7 or 8 points. It's like we can count on that. And he gives us, a little bit more, like depending on. I think he was a leading scorer a couple nights ago, 20 something or something like that. And it's just, honestly, Jig, I kind of feel like we missed an opportunity to actually catapult him consistently into that role I don't know if you want to call it 6-man or whatever, but then also to lock in Merrill where he knew he was going to play 20 minutes a night.
Merrill's a big missed out.
If we had moved Karras at the deadline, then Okoro and Merrill would have been cemented into these roles that I believe that they deserve. Because I think, what is Merrill, like 27 or something like that?
He is 27. Yeah, he's 27.
So
he also has 27 kids.
20. We're not talking about a 21 or 22-year-old kid. Like, we don't have to do this yo-yo
He's
thing.
In his prime. Man's in his prime.
If there was, I feel like I was watching the Miami Heat yesterday, and Duncan Robinson, I think, led them in scoring out in Portland, if I'm not mistaken. It was the second night of a back-to-back for them too. They had a game the night before, and then they played in Portland the next night. I can't remember who they played the night before. It might have been in LA. And man, Spo just finds ways to use guys. Like it was predetermined that he was going to get Duncan Robinson going yesterday. Am I saying that right? I feel like they played the Warriors recently.
It would be nice if JBB would see what was happening in games and bring guys in based on the flow of the game, right?
That would be nice.
How hard is that? How hard is that to do? I mean, is that like impossible to do?
It requires having an adaptability and feeling the game. I think that is what that requires. So,
Sebastian, I agree. That's what I'm saying now. Sorry to interrupt you there.
No, it's all good. I don't think it's hard to do if you're able to do it in real time and adapt. What is Sebastian saying? Did you pull us?
He said, "Yeah, I'll pull it up." But this, I've been noticing. I always like coming to that kid. Actually, I appreciate his insistence on defending his boy. I like that. I like anybody that does that. I like a good controversial opinion. I like people that get the crowd going. I don't even care what the opinion is. I think it's funny. Obviously there's exceptions, but in general, I just like people that get others going. But with that said, I have found it. I appreciate that he has backed Diener no matter what. But
no matter what, and he's taking some crap too for doing.
Oh God, yeah, no, I appreciate that he's backed his dude regardless of how much crap he's taken, and I like to bust his balls, but I will say that what he's been saying has appeared to be accurate. I've asked him to back himself up a couple of times, so I do think he goes over the top. But with that said, I think he's nailing JBB. I really do. This scripted minutes thing, which is what Sebastian is saying, appears to be accurate. And if so, while useful, a scripted minute thing could really come back to bite you in the ass if you think about it. If you're just scripting minutes, then you're not adjusting to the freaking game. I mean, like, what are we doing here? I mean, like,
I saw somebody in the comments mention Mike Brown.
I just saw that too. Let's pop.
It was the bane of the whole LeBron first time around. Because you saw him during the game, he'd go in his pocket, he pull out the little pink card, he'd be looking at it, squinting and spitting in his cup. And it's like, dude, you don't like, I don't know what you're doing with that, but there's a game, right? Like there's a whole game right here in front of you. And so that frustrates me about JBB because he's very adept at beating up referees, like verbally accosting refs and stuff. Like even when we were winning like 10 games
so
or whatever it was, it is like, so dude,
abusive of those refs.
That capacity that you're putting into going and like from the jump
on the game in front of your face, bro.
This happening like right in front of you.
What are we doing out here? Just focus on the game. Like if you see that a guy's going off out there, we know that Dean Wade is one of the most versatile defenders in the NBA right now. And I'm not exaggerating. It's true. The guy can guard 3-4 positions. Can't guard a point guard. He can guard everybody else. Put him out there, right? Even if you want to be reactive instead of proactive, put Dean out there. Put him out there on one of these guys. If it's time to put 3 shooters on the floor, We have you have another 3 shooters you can put out there. We can go small. We can go big. Tristan Thompson's on the sidelines with his, he's 40 years old. He's doing steroids, but we still have some bigs we got there on the bench.
We got some beef that's coming back pretty soon.
We got some beef. I understand that he doesn't want to use CPJ. And I do think that there's something accurate about what our boy Comeback Kid is saying about, like, when he put that out there about what everybody's being paid, and you compare that with how many minutes guys are getting, it is dead on balls accurate. Yeah. But with that said, there's got to be some flexibility to how many minutes these guys can get situationally. Got to be. Like, I mean, if you want to win games and you want to get in there and fight back, like against a team like the Bulls, as you said before, and I think we can jump off of this, but you got to find a way to get a Dean in there. You got to find a way to get Merrill in there when we're getting behind by like 3-4.
Right.
You got to get Jarrett back in the game. I mean, because you can throw him in there at any time. What the hell was I want to answer this question. I want to talk about her real quick. Just a good way to get off of this. I want to talk about Serena for a second here. I have an opinion on this. What are your thoughts on Serena?
She's grown on me for sure. So I watch a lot of national broadcasts, and I'm still Angel Gray. I
understand that. You've always loved Angel Gray.
But she's grown on me. She there's like a little quirky, I'm just one of the guys. Mm-hmm. I know my stuff. You ever watched it? There was a TV series called The West Wing, Aaron Sorkin.
Yeah.
You ever watch that?
I did.
There's this little,
not a lot of it. I'm gonna have to look up.
There's this little girl on there. She was like super tiny. She was like 5 something.
Okay.
But she was like, I don't know if she was like the press secretary. I don't remember. The press secretary was C.J. Craig. But this little girl, I think she was like I don't know. She was like a poster or something like that. But she knew her stuff. She did her homework, and she was always on it. And you could not trip her up because she knew what she was talking about.
Okay.
That's what Serena Winters is. And it's it's really appealing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I agree.
Whereas an Angel Gray or Allie or something like that, like, because they had like prior experience, like playing and stuff, they probably rested on it a little bit. They probably were in the gym at the same time as the guys and stuff like that. Serena just does her homework, and like she's making sure, AC and John Michael and stuff, they're never caught off, because she's always got it. She's always ready. So I respect her. I think she if I had to equate Serena to somebody on the team, she's giving me Isaac Okoro right now. Like, she's pretty solid, and you can depend on her, and she's going to deliver night in and night out.
I appreciate that assessment. I think that's good.
Right.
I think that's a great assessment.
What do you got on Serena? Why are you asking me that? I'm sure it's entirely entirely inappropriate. I'm giving you all this homework and all serious.
It's not inappropriate at all. No, it's not inappropriate. I just saw Two for the Brew going after it. Clearly he's being defensive of our Serena.
Got to protect our Serena.
Our Serena. Ice has better. So this is there is a little bit of background here. So, as I think I have a group text thread with some of the guys from the board, and one of them is very negative towards Serena. I happen to think I agree with you on Serena. I appreciate the work that she puts in. I think she does a great job. I think she's cute. I think she, it's more relevant that she does a good job, but I do have to think she's cute. And I do think that whoever this was that was attacking her, I think that they should be strung up and beaten for this. I think that whoever this is needs to be taken care of.
Do you have like a glasses thing? Is that part of your?
No, not in particular. I do like women who do their homework and do a good job, though. I like that. I it sounds like you do as well. I appreciate that.
Like,
I got respect for that. It doesn't for me. But I did think that was funny. He said our Serena. I mean, it just made me laugh. I wanted to get that up on the screen. And I do think we should go after this person.
So my
sue them.
broadcast,
Maybe we should
I was
sue
actually I was watching the Bulls broadcast, so I didn't actually get to see. Was she accosted by one of the?
I didn't see this. I don't know what it was. I just thought it was funny that he said ours and get a restraining order. All of the language made me laugh. Ours, restraining order, and freak all caught my probably because it's late. I don't know.
Here's what we're looking at for this. Just to put tonight in context. Let's put tonight in context with last night's game, and then we'll in the grand scheme of things, Chicago has been better. They've gone to 2 bigs in the last, I want to say 10 games or so. I don't know what their record is over the last 10 games.
I feel like they're better than their record in general. They're not an easy out every game. They
weren't actually terrible. They just, I think the biggest thing that happened was Zach LaVine's done for the year.
I'm just going to say the same thing. They lost LaVine. So they're just trying to stay above water without him.
They were doing, like, Zach LaVine, by all intents and purposes, is like Colin Sexton. And all he was doing was just making it hard for them to have a flow to their offense. Guys didn't know where the ball was going to be. Guys didn't know how they wanted to play off of each other. He was taking the same spots on the court that DeRozan likes to take. And it wasn't fitting anymore.
He's a weird player. Yeah, LaVine's a weird player.
I've never liked his game. I've never liked him since UCLA, and I didn't like him in Minnesota. I don't like him in Chicago, and I guarantee you this offseason they're gonna try everything in their power because that contract is not. Is he a free agent this year? If I'm not mistaken.
Go ahead with what you're saying, and I'll take a look.
But as a whole, and I'm not gonna take any shots at Karras with this whole diatribe, but I do want to say something. Basketball is a flow kind of game.
Absolutely.
And there's certain guys that really produce well when they're like playing like it's just them on the court. Zach LaVine's game is like that. Colin Sexton's game is like that. Karis LeVert's game is like that. Monte Ellis' game used to be like that. And it's so frustrating when you're like, okay, as a result of you getting yours and making sure that you play at this pace, like those guys, they play at a different pace from everybody else, but there are guys who play at a different pace, like Slow-Mo Anderson up in Minnesota, but he can play at a different pace, but he also gets guys, involved. He also like lifts the floor for other players.
Right.
So LaVine is like a super sized, super powered version of Sexton and LeVert in that he can really get you buckets and really, he's being paid to be like that. So they can't take the ball out of his hands and turn him into like a 6-man kind of thing. But if they had, the Bulls would have kept, would have probably built momentum. It's not a good look for him in that role. Like, I don't know if he's going to end up in like Brooklyn or somewhere, where he can be a featured scorer that they're just like, go ahead and just try to score kind of thing. And we'll do all the dirty work around you. But it ain't going to be in Chicago because they look way better without him. So
Rich Paul has his ass signed through 26-27, by the way.
LaVine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Player option for 26-27. So they have 3 more years of him.
That's tough.
That's tough. Over $40 million a year.
Oh, that's tough. And I'm talking about that $40 million. Like, that team looks legitimately better without him. Like, it's not even a question.
30%
so they're starting
of the cap.
They're starting to click a little bit. They almost so they've got Don Sumu, they've got Alex Caruso, DDR, and then they got a bunch of random G League kind of guys that Donovan can just get to, like play. And they're not a good young team by any stretch of imagination. They should have definitely torn it down. But they flipped their switch right before the All-Star break, and they're starting to look like it with this this twin tower thing that they got going on. So I'm saying all this to say, it's dead leg night. and we still are very much in the driver's seat, I believe, for the second seed. So let's just put it in a context. We stole a game that we shouldn't have stole last night, and then the basketball gods were like, well, we'll take this one back from you. So, like now we've got the Pistons before the schedule gets tough again, and the schedule is getting ready to get tough. So we can't afford to throw any more of these games away. I don't care if it's coaching. I don't care what it is. Like, we've got to put the pedal to the metal. Maybe we needed a night like tonight just to kick it into gear and hey, last night was just foul money, but like we got to stay locked in 48 minutes. I don't know. I'm trying to put my brew glasses on right now because seeing that loss really that didn't feel good at all.
Yeah.
But it's time. It's time to lock in. It's time to start kicking into gear. We should know who we are already. And it's frustrating when you see games like tonight where it's like, it's pretty late in the season for stuff like that. If we're talking about, going in the second round and being a potential contender. So,
yep, 100%.
Yeah. I was getting ready to publish Sebastian. I'm not going to do that. Just not what he just said there.
Oh, what did he say?
Yeah, he's talking about JBB still. So
you need the Cavs to pay penance. I give you JBB.
So our upcoming schedule. Let's touch on the upcoming schedule, and then let's get your music recommendation because we're gonna give these guys an opportunity to shut down their night here.
Okay, so we've got Pistons. Got to be a win. They're one of the worst teams of all time. Then we got the Knicks at home, the Celtics at home, playing the Hawks on the road. Timberwolves coming to play us. I'm at that game, so they better fucking win that game.
That's pretty
Taking
awesome.
my son to that one. I had him crying on December 29th when the
T-Wolves and the Thunder are at the top of the West right now, so I'm just giving a little.
I know. I knew going in that was going to be a tough game. I got our asses kicked by the Bucks at home on the December 29th, so that was rough. Nets at home, Suns at home, Pels on the road, Rockets on the road, Pacers on the road, Pacers Heat at home, Tim's on the road. This is tough. Heat on the road.
How many games are you going?
Stretch. Just through March. I'm just doing March.
So I agree with
just
Brew.
doing the next month. It's tough March. Tough March there.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. Here's the thing that I was getting ready to say about the Pistons because
yeah, that's a tough month.
I agree. I actually think Detroit has been playing tougher. I think that they just played the Knicks and they just had that game stolen from them too, like against the Knicks. Do you see that foul on Asar Thompson? That
I did. He got absolutely crushed.
DiVincenzo. He got mugged like a street mugging, but they almost stole that game. And the crazy thing about that was they did it without, I want to say there was like 3 starters, maybe 2 or 3 starters, because Isaiah Stewart's been suspended.
I didn't see anything up until that play.
Okay. I watched the entire game. I was sitting there. Monty Williams doing some head scratching stuff still, but it's the perfect kind of next trap game. Like, and I'm not trying to make any excuses. I'm just saying, like, a lot of teams are flipping their switches and they're actually like, hey, like, we want to play, spoiler. You guys think you're the second best team in the East. Y'all had a stretch where y'all was whooping up on everybody. Let me, the league catches up really quickly. So we were playing a certain kind of way. We undid that ourselves by not playing Merrill anymore and taking a lot of the shooters off the floor. But I feel like the league was starting to adjust too. Like in that game against Orlando, you remember the game before when we played Orlando and he had like 10 threes or something like that?
I do.
So then in that next game against Orlando, the one that we just won, they didn't let him breathe. Like everywhere he was going, somebody was in his pocket. And so the league had already started making adjustments, but we're not doing ourselves any favors with the rotations as of right now. So I don't want us to just pencil in a win against those Pistons. Is what this whole thing is all about.
Okay.
because he's trying to get through to some of these kids, and then they've made some moves. You know, they did acquire Fournier and somebody else from the Knicks. Oh, Grimes. And Grimes actually is the reason why they almost beat the Knicks the other night. So he's got some more veteran players like that that are actually he's leaning on those a little bit heavier.
Okay.
So we'll see. Where's the Pistons game at? Are we in Detroit for that game?
I think we're in Detroit, but let me check real quick. I do believe that one is in Detroit. Yeah, March is going to be really, really tough. They're going to have to get their shit together. And the next week is going to be a gauntlet. Cavaliers at Pistons. Yep.
And here's the thing, though. We literally had a stretch of an entire month, like January or so, where we couldn't complain. Like we had a very easy schedule.
Yes, agreed.
And we sprinkled in one contender a week every 5 games or so.
Right.
So this is the way the ball bounces. It honestly just sucks because we see the Bucks there. We see them coming. And I'm gonna look at the standings really quickly. We're one loss up on the Bucks. They've won 3 in a row, and they're coming. So we're talking about Boston. They got, I think, 8 losses up on us. Then us and the Bucks, and we only got them by, it's 20 losses, 21 losses. So, and here come those. The Knicks were coming at one point in time, but I think they've lost 3. They lost.
Well, they lost 1.
The last 10. Well, they lost 7.
They're 3 and 7 over the last 10. That's weird. What's going on there?
Randall went down, and it was only a matter of time. They were just holding together with glue. Like they were starting Precious Achua along with Hartenstein, and it was like they were kind of masking the fact that they don't actually have their, I guess you could say, second best player. So, all right. What are you listening to, Jig? And we're going to get ready to wrap this thing up since I think we sufficiently vented about this frustrating loss.
I think we gave this its due.
I think so.
I'm going to recommend something I actually had not listened to in a long time, and I'm going to give Deezus from the board his due on this one because he recommended it to me. I'm going to say it was about 5 years ago.
Wait, give me 1 second. I sincerely apologize. I got a message just now that said, hey, you guys didn't play the calls, and we entirely didn't.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to do a recommendation, or you want to get this call in real quick?
Get the call in.
Let's do it. My bad, man.
Oh, look at Ron G.
Wow. Ron G said, hey. Where's my...
Not letting us off the hook. Boom.
Ron G said, take that for data.
I bet he had an album.
Let's see if this thing is going to play for us. Give me 1 second.
Appreciate you calling in, by the way.
My brother.
Make sure you guys are hitting us up so we can get on these calls for you guys. We appreciate it. Appreciate you guys talking in here, too. Makes everything even more fun, even if we get these crap-ass efforts from our Cavs.
Man, we had such a happy show planned because we just knew we were going to win this game.
All right. I know.
Oh, it's Ron G. Shout out to doing this live broadcast tonight after I called you out via text message. I knew you and Jigo had to be on the air after yesterday's game. Incredible ending. Woke up the whole neighborhood with much screaming and yelling. My wife was not happy. I didn't care. Grabbed another bourbon. just kept going. So we're going into a double overtime game here with the Bulls. It's impressive how these Cavs keep contending and competing despite the mediocre coaching we have. And with Garland trying to get himself back into the game, I mean, he did the three well, but he still keeps going 1v3, driving the paint like he shouldn't be. But frustrating to watch the coaching knowing what we have, you know. That's my biggest hang up at this point. I got to give Okoro credit. He's played his ass off, and when he took that ball, dribbled in, took that mid-range shot yesterday, showed me some real growth. I mean, you know, his three-point shooting's been on target for sure. He's doing really well from three, but has been all his career until this year, and I just didn't want to buy into it. But I'll take that three-point shooting, but more importantly, I'll take the fact that he was willing to drive and then hit that mid-range shot, because that showed real growth. His defense has always been decent. So we can just get the coach to switch Niang's minutes and give them to another guy, we'd be doing well. So that's it, man. I hope we pull out this one. I'll catch you on the broadcast. Have a great night.
Ron G.
Thanks for the call, man. Yeah, I mean, Cavs have been fighting back in spite of JBB, so we're in agreement there. Definitely some frustration on our end, just as there is with yours. I mean, I think we're both with you on that. I gave Ice a lot of shit over our seasons, both of our previous seasons to this one. So I will eat some crow on that one. Okoro, for sure. So I will take that one. But I agree 100% there. He's turning into a hell of a player. I think he's going to get even better here. But man, the dude's going to need some minutes to do it. Got to find some spots for him to play, because I think he's the type of dude who can really make some contributions in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like he's a guy that where if he was on a team like the Heat, I think he'd be put in some pretty big spots. And I think he'd become known as a winner. I think he'd be known as a type of guy who made some really big plays in the playoffs. So I'm hoping that JBB, or I hope maybe Walton gets in his ear, or one of those other guys says, hey, listen, you got to be getting him minutes at the right times in the right spots once these guys get in the playoffs. Because I do think he's a winner. I just think he's
I think so too.
I think he's a guy that's just got to be in there. We got to be proactive with him. He's got to be in there when
the light bulb
guys are
clicked.
Getting off. When Jimmy Butler's getting off in the late, if we're playing him, that's when Okoro's got to be out there.
I think the light bulb has clicked for him, and I think we have a pretty good read on the floor at the very least. And what's exciting about Okoro is the floor is pretty high. The floor is like a consistent, hey, we can count on him disrupting perimeter, the ball on the perimeter, and we can count on him doing certain things on the other side of the floor to keep the ball moving. He's definitely taking and making those open threes now, those corner threes and stuff.
Consistently.
But what's exciting about him is I feel like you can count on him being and doing that now that light bulb has gone on. But
exactly,
if you give him the consistent minutes and you give him that consistent role, is it possible that he could be even more than that? That's the thing that it's like
he runs well on the break too.
Man, he's a terror when he's coming downhill now, because there was a point in time where you were like, oh, just pass the ball because you're too afraid to even dribble. I think he knows what his limitations are as a ball handler. Super smart as a conduit to keep the ball moving in the half court. It's like I want to see Okoro on the floor.
I agree.
So that's part of the reason why I'll get so frustrated with this insistence on giving LeVert 30 minutes a night, because I'm like, man, honestly, pretty quickly, if what Levert brings to the party on any given night. Number one is going to be good Levert or bad Levert, but then also if it's actually going to help, like keep everybody else playing to their strengths. And you, as a coach, you've got to be ready to adapt and be ready and willing to just kind of, adjust that rotation so that Okoro can get a more consistent role. I'm ready. My body's ready for Okoro. So
with it.
What do you got? What are you listening to? Thank you, Ron, for the call, by the way.
Down you.
So back to, I guess I'll get back to my spiel.
So I was so rudely interrupted by Ron.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Because I want to give credit where it's due to Deezus, because he's the one who gave me this recommendation a few years ago. You heard of Neon Indian before?
Who? Come again?
Neon Indian. That was my reaction too. So Neon Indian, can't remember the guy's name, but Neon Indian is the I guess stage name would be the word for it. Word for him. Guy releases an album like every 3-4 years. Album's called Vega International Night School. Came out back in like 2015. It's like chill wave. Are you familiar with the type of music?
I feel like he's speaking like all like
this is what I was hoping for.
Language.
This is what I was hoping for. This is what I was hoping for. I wanted to kind of blow your socks off with this one.
Okay.
So chill wave is like a micro genre type of music of like sort of like a dreamy, surrealistic, like techno pop type of music. It's like a psychedelic kind of music with like a bunch of different sounds in it, but it's mostly like got a sort of 80s, 90s sort of feel to it.
Okay.
And it's super, thanks. Soulblade is replying about it. It is like, it's a super cool sound. But like if you listen to a whole album of chillwave, it's almost, and this is going to sound totally wild, but it's almost going to sound like you're listening to like an 80s or 90s commercial with like sort of techno mixed in, but maybe like some reggae mixed in, some Beach Boys. It's these wild mixes of music, but that's what's so cool about it, because it has this wild mix, but it gives you this like really comfortable kind of dreamy feel to it. So his music, this album, very danceable. All right, is what I would say to it. It makes you kind of want to get off your feet, right? It's got like a lot of Prince to it, I would say. Very 80s feel. The album is very themed. And every song actually had a video to it. And if you watch the videos, it's kind of got this like Grand Theft Auto sort of like almost Taxi Driver sort of feel to it. Like it sort of tells this story about this like seedy underbelly characters kind of going through like their weird like crime driven stories. And it's really neat. Like it's really cool. Guy's got like a kind of high pitched voice, like, and he sings in sort of a falsetto at times. Really cool. Here's the songs that I would recommend off of it. My favorite is Dear Scorpio Magazine. My second favorite is Annie, which has like an Ace of Base sound to it. Slumlord is awesome too. I like all three of those, but I like every song off of the album. I genuinely can't tell you exactly what it sounds like unless you listen to it. And I'm sure Soulblade would tell you the same thing about Chillwave. You would truly have to hear Chillwave to know what it sounds like. And then once you do, and you've heard it, I could definitely see somebody hating it. But if you like it, it's the type of thing that you could put on, you could fall asleep to it, or I think you could listen to it and you'd be like, oh shit, man, I want to dance to this.
So is chill wave like a precursor to like chill hop? by chance?
I've never heard of chill hop, but I bet you it is. Is chill hop like lo-fi hip hop?
Yes. Chill hop
Absolutely.
is like lo-fi and hip hop together, and
That is actually exactly what it was, because I bet you chill hop came out around like 2017, 2018 or so.
yes.
Does that sound
I
right?
think.
And did yes, it is. That's exactly what it is, because I have I've had some playlists that I've listened to before that were chill hop, and I'm pretty sure oh man, it's
I got
late.
an entire YouTube channel that's like a chill hop playlist and stuff like that.
Yep.
That I let them play whenever I work.
Oh man,
So
what's his
chill wave is like a precursor for chill hop.
Childish Gambino had a song called, I think it was Summer.
Oh yeah. I love that.
Is it Summer?
Yeah.
Feels like Summer is like a chill hop song. Right?
Yeah. No, that's totally chill hop. Yes, absolutely.
That is chill hop. Yes, 100%. That came out of this. And so yes, chill hop sounds like chill wave combined with hip hop. Nice. Yes, absolutely.
All right, well played, Jig.
I need you to listen to it because I really think you're gonna like it.
No, I will. Yeah, I gave you the roots last time, and you've like taken weeks diving into them, and which I really appreciate.
I love them. Yeah, I love the roots. Ooh,
right.
In Excess. That's a good recommendation. I love In Excess. Kick was a great album. That's a recommendation from Sebastian down there. I love In Excess.
All right, man. Y'all bringing it. I got some new rock to listen to. Chill wave. I'll probably dive into it here for my work day tomorrow.
Slumlord, Dear Scorpio Magazine, Annie, but you can't miss with that whole album. Vega International Night School.
International Night School. Chill wave.
Vega International Night School.
My brother.
Neon Indian.
All right, I think we've sufficiently turned the page on this frustrating night after an exhilarating night. It's the NBA season. Yeah, that's what this is what we do it for.
It's a love roller coaster, man.
Like we're sitting there as frustrated as we all are looking tonight. Like when we hop into bed and your wife's like, "Oh man, just yesterday you was like on cloud 9." Like you, basketball gods give it and they take it away. So,
hey, you know what? I got to say something real quick about basketball. My son, coaching basketball, my son had his first buzzer beater last weekend. He did. So we finished our one season. Team was terrible, but he was really good. He had a good season, and he worked his ass off.
Game winner, or like the end of a quarter,
game winner.
Shout out to Luke.
He's playing two teams at the same time. He's been awesome. Like he's been working his absolute ass off the whole season. He made like a really nice like leap in the middle of the season, and he deserved it. But in the one team that's been really bad, he just played his ass off. He scored in that game. He scored 12 points against a really tough team, and then they were tied. And then at the last, with like 3 seconds on the clock, he stole the ball at the 3-point line from the other side, dribbled it down, laid it up, and then there's a team from the same town that happened to be in the building waiting to play the next game. It was like all the kids from his class were there like jumping up and down with him.
I like that.
The
I know exactly
families
what you're talking about too.
Came out on the floor. It was awesome.
It makes
man.
a difference
so
when because you know that those dudes are watching. They're gonna talk about it at school and everything.
Oh, they came out. They were hugging him and high fiving him, and I picked him up, and all the kids on the team were all celebrating. It was awesome. It was his first like really cool moment. I was super proud of him, and he totally deserved it.
Light bulb going on for Luke. Shout out to Luke.
Totally, man. I had to share that because we were talking upstairs, and he asked me if I was going to bring it up, so I had to pop that in there.
So I'll say this last thing for everybody that's thinking about this Pistons game already, trying to smarten from this little loss right here, and already got their eyes set on it. What are you looking forward to and saying, hey, for that Pistons game. If we
Man.
can get this right, if we can see this adjustment kind of thing, then I'll feel good about going forward after the way this just left a bad taste in my mouth.
Well, I want to make sure Donovan's healthy, first of all.
Yeah, I did see some limping around out there.
I did too.
I'm concerned about that.
Man, I always say I just want to see the damn extended lineup, but I can't.
Can I tell you what?
Do that. I knew you were going to shake your head.
It starts for me at the very, very top.
I know.
We had a stretch where we didn't have Garland or Mobley, and it felt like he had a read on things because he wasn't trying to juggle so much talent and everything like that.
Got Garland back into the lineup, the whole friggin' thing. It's just like totally falling apart.
But it's not just Garland though. It's like
no, it's not Garland's fault. It's just he doesn't seem to know what to do now that he's got Garland back in the lineup. I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, it's very frustrating to see.
He doesn't know how to.
It looks like we're back in a frustrating part where guys don't know if they're going to play, if they should play, how they should play when they do play. And so for this next game, I want to see clarity again. Like I want to see because the players play differently when they know. And I just want to feel like for the next game when they come out that they know. So
well, yeah, I mean, so that's a better answer than mine. I mean, I guess to answer it without frustration, I would say I want to see Garland get in there, and I want to see him play solidly throughout the game, and I want to see him both distribute and nail his shots consistently, and I want to see everybody playing consistently around him. That's really it, because I mean, again, if the team can play well around him with everybody knowing their roles while he plays consistently, we don't have a problem.
Yeah.
I didn't say I trusted that it was going to happen. I just said that that's pretty much the answer, because that's been the issue.
Because there was something that was working, and you know, everybody's going to say, oh, well, it was because Donovan was doing this and he wasn't trying to share it with Garland. And, you know, like you see him taking up for him in the press and everything. But the same thing can be said about Mobley and Allen. And all of it starts at the top with how we have our rotations, our groupings, and, you know, like the way guys come in those lineups and stuff. So how they complement each other. So I want to see better clarity that puts these pieces back together so they could fit, you know, how they were before Mobley and Garland just came back. So,
right.
All right. Well, we have sufficiently potted it up. Cavs dropped one to the Bulls, but we got the Pistons on the horizon.
See if they can smoke the Pistons.
Did they play tonight, by the way? Have they played since they got that game stolen away from them? With
Pistons have actually decided to skip the last 10 games. They passed on the last 10 games.
Yeah, they just beat the Bulls. Ha!
Did they really?
They just beat the Bulls yesterday by 10. So,
oh my God, they beat the Bulls.
There's that.
And they only lost by 2. Yeah, that's right. They only lost by 2 to the Knicks. They only lost by 3 to the Magic.
Lost by 3 to the Magic. They lost to the Pacers.
They are hanging in there, huh?
They've been in some of these games, man. So we shall see.
6 to the Clippers. Beat the Blazers.
See them on the first.
Yeah, might not be that easy, huh? All right, we'll see.
Rubber rim job.
All right, we'll see you guys later.
We titled this season 3, episode 12, Max Strus Juice, and then that all was taken away from us.
He was juiced. Just add a D to the end. Add a D to the end. That's all you got to do.
Signing off, everybody.
Later.
Season 3, episode 12, Max Strus Juice.
That was fun.